You're sitting in front of a screen right now, and somewhere in your home there's probably a candle you've never lit, or a fireplace you rarely use. But if one were burning nearby, you'd look at it. You wouldn't be able to help it. Something in you would turn toward the flame. Scientists have a name for this. They call it the fireside effect, a documented drop in blood pressure and heart rate that happens when humans watch fire, even on a screen, even for a few minutes. No other species does this. Not chimpanzees. Not wolves. Not even your dog, who will avoid a flame the first time he sees one. So why does your body relax at the exact moment every other animal's body tenses up? The answer starts almost 2 million years ago, long before writing, before agriculture, before anything you'd recognize as civilization. Picture an open grassland at dusk. The light is failing fast. Somewhere in the tall grass, a predator is already moving. For most of the animals out there, darkness means one thing: stay hidden, stay still, stay quiet. But one creature is doing something no one else on the savannah is doing. It's building a small, controlled disaster. And it's sitting right next to it. Anthropologist Wrangham has spent decades studying this moment, and his research points to something extraordinary. Fire may be the single event that turned an ape into a human. Before fire, your ancestors spent most of their day chewing. Raw meat, raw roots, raw everything. Their guts were huge, built like a fermentation vat, working overtime to break down tough, uncooked food. Their jaws were massive. Their brains were small, because a brain is one of the most expensive organs in the body to run, and there wasn't enough spare energy to grow one. Then something changed. Cooking. When your ancestors started applying heat to food, it did something no chewing ever could. It began breaking down the food before it even reached the stomach. Starches gelatinized. Proteins unwound. Suddenly, the same meal delivered far more usable energy, in far less time. Less energy spent digesting. More energy left over. And that leftover energy went somewhere specific, into the most expensive tissue in the entire body. Over hundreds of thousands of years, the human brain nearly tripled in size. Not gradually by accident. Fueled. You are, quite literally, thinking right now because something learned to cook. But energy wasn't the only thing fire changed. It changed the clock. Every other primate goes still with the sun. Once night falls, their world shrinks to whatever they can defend in the dark. But your ancestors didn't stop when the sun went down. They gathered. Anthropologist Wiessner studied modern hunter-gatherer communities and found something surprising about what happens once the fire is lit and the work of the day is done. Daytime conversation, she found, is almost entirely practical. Complaints, logistics, disputes over resources. But nighttime, firelit conversation is different. It shifts almost entirely into story. Myth. Gossip about people far away. Jokes. History passed from one generation's mouth to the next. The fire didn't just extend the day. It created an entirely new kind of time, a time built for language, memory, and imagination, protected inside a circle of light that kept the darkness, and its dangers, at a distance. Every human religion, every folktale, every origin myth you've ever heard was probably first told by firelight. Before there were books, before there was writing, the fire was the screen everyone gathered around. And that brings us to something even stranger, because your ancestors weren't just using fire. They were becoming synchronized by it. Watch a group of people around a real fire sometime. Notice how the conversation slows down. How people speak more softly. How eye contact softens, and shoulders drop. Researchers studying group behavior around fire have found that flickering, low-frequency light seems to nudge brain activity into calmer patterns, the kind associated with relaxation rather than alertness. Which means that fire didn't just protect your ancestors physically. It may have been quietly reshaping their nervous systems every single night, for hundreds of thousands of years, training the human brain to associate flickering orange light with safety. That training didn't go away. It's still sitting inside you. It's why hospitals now play videos of fireplaces to calm anxious patients. It's why fireplace channels have millions of hours of watch time on streaming platforms, with nothing happening on screen except flames. It's why a candle on a dinner table changes the entire mood of a room, even though it produces almost no real light at all. You're not imagining that pull. You inherited it. But fire asked for something in return. It couldn't be left alone. A fire that goes untended for even a few hours goes cold. Someone has to feed it, shield it from wind, carry embers between camps, protect it through rain. Some researchers argue this single requirement, the constant, unglamorous work of fire-keeping, may have shaped early human cooperation itself. Groups that failed to keep flame alive lost warmth, lost protection, lost the ability to cook. Groups that succeeded had to trust each other enough to share the work, and share what the fire produced. In other words, before you learned to build cities, courts, or governments, you had already learned to build something even more fundamental around a fire pit, a shared responsibility, an early social contract, glowing quietly in the dark. Which means that every dinner party, every campfire sing-along, every family gathered around a hearth on a cold night, is an echo of the very first thing that ever made humans a we instead of a scattering of eyes. So the next time you find yourself staring into a flame, a candle, a bonfire, even the fake fire crackling on a screen, understand what's actually happening. You are not just watching light dance on wood. You are looking at the exact thing that cooked your ancestors' food, extended their day into night, calmed their nervous system, and taught the first version of us how to trust each other in the dark. Fire didn't just help humans survive. Fire is, in a very real sense, what made you human in the first place. And maybe that's why, even now, thousands of generations later, some small and ancient part of you still can't look away.